When visiting a traditional doctor, they usually rely on physical tools to see inside the body, using things like blood tests, stethoscopes, or x-rays to find the source of the pain. But there is no scan for the mind. To understand mental or emotional pain, a person has to open up and share their deepest vulnerabilities with a complete stranger. Since physical scans stop at the skin, the clinical conversation becomes the primary way for a doctor to map out a patient's internal world. Because it can adapt to any situation or any story a patient needs to tell, it is a doctor's most versatile and powerful instrument for understanding the human experience. This initial encounter has to accomplish two goals at once. It has to gather a detailed database of a person's life, while also building a trusting partnership between the doctor and the patient. Building this kind of structure creates a collaborative partnership that acts as a safe space for real healing to begin. Before any history is taken, the clinician must establish a secure perimeter. The patient needs to feel that the room is physically and emotionally safe before they can share their story. A major part of that safety comes from strict privacy standards. By explaining laws like HIPAA, the clinician shows the patient that their information is protected by a legal shield, with only very specific, predefined exceptions for safety. Safety also means absolute focus. By silencing phones and putting away beepers, the clinician proves to the patient that their time together is the only priority. Having this secure and private foundation allows a patient to begin the difficult process of unpacking their personal history. In modern care, we use the term patient-doctor relationship. Putting the patient first reminds us that the individual's lived experience is more important than a clinical label. Clinicians build this understanding by looking at three specific layers: a person's physical health, their inner thoughts, and the social world they live in, including their family, culture, and past experiences. This person-centered approach also involves looking for strengths. Instead of just identifying problems, the clinician asks about what the patient does well and what they consider to be their greatest assets. Surveying the whole person provides the structural integrity needed to create a treatment plan that actually fits the individual. These clinical interviews can be emotionally heavy. When a patient is in pain, the clinician has to be careful not to be pulled under by those same intense feelings. To keep the relationship steady, clinicians use empathy as a protective wall. Sympathy is like seeing someone at the bottom of a deep hole and deciding to jump in to join them. Now you are both trapped, and no one is in a position to help. Empathy is different. It allows the doctor to deeply understand the patient's pain while keeping their own feet on solid ground. Because they stay at the edge, they can reach down and help the patient climb out. This empathetic connection often shows up in small human moments: a brief smile, a respectful silence, or even a shared laugh. These walls of empathy create an environment where the patient feels seen and understood, while the doctor maintains the objective distance needed to provide care. Once that structure of trust is built, the patient finally feels secure enough to describe their primary concern in their own words, without feeling judged. As the conversation continues, the clinician listens for what lies beneath the surface, paying attention to the things a patient avoids saying, or the subtle ways they try to protect themselves from painful memories. By asking gentle, open-ended questions, the doctor helps the patient recognize these deeper patterns and guided associations for themselves. These principles of human connection apply even when the doctor and patient are miles apart. Whether in an office or through a screen, the goal is always to stage a safe, focused environment. In the end, the success of this first encounter comes down to feeling. As Maya Angelou famously observed, people will forget what you said or did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Ultimately, a carefully engineered interview provides the structural safety a patient needs to face their challenges and start the process of recovery.